Hello everyone, welcome back to the Digital Marketing Can Podcast, your go-to source for the latest insights, strategies, and stories in the digital marketing world. I'm Prince Kumar, your host, and today we have an exceptional guest joining us. Will is the co-founder of Belavix, a full-service marketplace marketing agency that empowers direct-to-consumer retail brands to accelerate growth on major marketplaces such as Amazon and Walmart. Will has vast experience leading strategic planning and tactical execution for e-commerce brands, managing channels, growth, and driving results for well-known brands such as Instant Pot, Pyrex, and Derma. Today, he will share his insights on mastering Amazon listing optimization to boost ranking. Let's dive into his expertise and practical advice. Haire, a warm welcome on our show.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Great introduction. Thanks for having me, Prince. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be on here to talk about some of my favorite topics, which is Amazon listing optimization and all the fun stuff that comes with getting more visibility and making more money on marketplaces like Amazon.
Definitely, and we will love to have that discussion. But before starting that, can you just let the audience know a bit more about your journey, about what led you to find Belavix and how you got that interest into the Amazon marketing?
Yeah, beautiful. Probably like a lot of people in the e-commerce space, I started out doing retail arbitrage and I cut my teeth on selling products online on my own. I, at some point, started working for marketing agencies as an advertiser, and I've been doing that for a little over 10 years now. And then back in 2018, decided that we can do it better with some of the methodologies I've built out from working in the industry. And so we started the agency Belavix, where we do full channel management, and we're focused on Amazon. And since inception, we managed a little over $500 million in sales. We work with some of the great brands you mentioned. We had some really good partnerships with enterprise level customers, as well as small businesses, working directly with founders, brands that have been on Shark Tank. So it's really exciting. And for somebody like myself, I have ADD. I am always all over the place. It's changing with AI and the features and updates. So it's a really interesting and fun place to work in. E-commerce and specifically on Amazon. So I've been really blessed and I'm happy to be here to share some of my learnings and how we do things here at Belavix and what's led to results with some of the brands that we have in our portfolio.
So, when we discuss about this Amazon, so when you work with any of the new brands that you are starting work with, what are the core elements do you focus very initially for optimizing their listings?
Yeah, so I mean, really basic. When we first step into a listing, people are very visual. So the first thing we'll do is an image audit. We're going to want to know how are products in the marketplace represented? What are the unique features, selling propositions? Like what do other brands in your space call out? As well as analyzing all the customer reviews, because this will give us insights. Because even if you don't have a lot of reviews, the next best product will, and understand what are people's pain points, what do they like, what do they talk about, what type of pictures do they share, and it gives us a really good idea of like who that shopper is and the type of messaging that they're exposed to on the market. So the image audit's one of the first things we do. Outside of that, it's keyword optimization. So if they're advertising on the platform, we're going to look at their ad campaigns inside the advertising console. There you can look at the search term report, and these are actual search queries that somebody typed into Amazon and went and engaged your product and made a purchase, or went somewhere else. But it's good to get a contextual idea of like how people search for your products, your brand, so on and so forth. And that's a big part of it. And I could dive into like the architecture, but we're going to optimize for keywords, title, bullet, description, and then we're going to optimize your image, your main image being the core focus, because that's going to improve our click-through rate and get more people on our product detail page. So that's the like super high level of what we would look at when we're trying to get more visibility and performance.
So, like we have, like when we go for any other platform, whether it might be on Meta or on LinkedIn or Twitter or any of the other platforms, they generally have a lot of tools, whether it might be their inbuilt or the third-party tools that help in setting up the entire campaign, that help in keyword research, that help in developing the creatives and those all things. So, for this Amazon marketing out there, are there any tools that are available in that helps in understanding the keywords, like what are the keywords that are working upon, what are the products that are being sold upon, or what are the search terms that are coming upon? So, do we have all of these tools within the platform, or if not, then can you recommend any third-party tools that helps in setting up the Amazon listings?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Prince. I would say first and foremost, Amazon has tools, your search term report, through brand analytics. For those who have trademark registered brand, we're able to look at like search query performance and a lot of different information around demographic, how people are shopping, your market share, your impression share. So that could give us a lot of information. But we use that on top of other software like a lot of other agencies. Helium 10 is top notch. Helium 10, Jungle Scout, they're both kind of one and the same. We happen to use Helium 10, just we've been using it for a while. And it provides everything from like tracking keyword performance, doing reverse ASIN lookup to understand which keywords you're indexing for and what your competitors are potentially indexing for. A lot of like research on being able to manipulate data to understand who your shopper is, performance. Like it's a really powerful tool. We also subscribe to Data Dive. It's a Brendan Young software that's kind of like an add-on to Helium 10, but it's also through Jungle Scout. I think it's primarily on Jungle Scout now. And it's a really stellar platform. So like that gives us even deeper insights into like potentially keyword gaps, listing optimization, and like other aspects that a professional would look at. So if you're a layman, you're new to this space, like keep it high level. Helium 10 is a great tool. But for those of you who have a lot of experience and you're looking for ways to get even deeper into the product, into the brand, into the category, we recommend Data Dive. Then outside of that, like some super easy ones, Getita is a reimbursement software. We've been partners with them for years. Not only do they have great marketing content, but they're performance based, so they take a fee for funds they recover. Super easy to set up, and the software does a lot of the work. So it's a great tool for our partners to see value. And I think those are going to be the big ones. We use some like reporting and analytics tools, but I'm not sure how interested your audience is into knowing that. But outside of that, those are like some of the major tools we use around listing optimization.
Okay. And also, like, if you can help with some of the tools for the analytics also, like, if you mentioned, if there are any tools just to analyze out there that,
Yeah, definitely. So we're big fans of Srinath Reddy's IntentWise software. It is next level. It bakes in Amazon Marketing Cloud data into that. So if you're doing programmatic advertising or you're spending significantly on the platform or off the platform, we can map that user journey. Gives us information on every cost per acquisition. We can get really granular in terms of keywords, audiences. So it's a really powerful tool. It's a little expensive, but it's definitely worth it. We also use a tool called Analytics. They're a German company. They do some deep insights. And then Merchant Spring is our third platform that we use for reporting. And all these are different levels, depending on the client and the needs. But those are our top 3 reporting software, and 10 Merchant Spring probably being 2 of the best in class.
So one of the problems that most of our audience generally have about is that when they go with platforms such as Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, YouTube, they have a good amount of ground to play out. But Amazon, for them, they look like that there's a bit of crowded marketplace out there. A lot of players are coming within that space to conquer out. According to you, What approaches do you use to help brands stand out from this competition and build a long-term engagement with their audience?
Yeah, definitely. So brands that succeed on Amazon, they do invest off Amazon. So generally they're working on their retail, their wholesale distribution, and they're also doing a lot with social media and driving traffic to their D2C site. That's your Shopify, your WooCommerce, or wherever else you go to drive that type of traffic. So brands that are doing that have a leg up on brands that are like Amazon only. So if you're an Amazon only brand and you're doing a decent amount of revenue off that, you should really consider diversifying. I think that's really important for anybody in e-commerce. Outside of that, Amazon's a saturated marketplace. So how do you make a difference? Good product imagery, good assets. That's going to stand out from the rest of the competition. And you can look at like the owner of Zulay, Aaron Cortez, I think his name is. He's able to go into the kitchen category. Everybody check out Zulay if you haven't. They have a MILF frother that they have a million variations, but they're able to go into these different categories inside of the kitchen space, and they're able to launch a product, acquire a decent amount of reviews, but they're not doing anything. They're not the number one reviewed product in the category, yet they'll become the best seller in that category. And because he has a methodology of split testing the main images and testing the title and really trying to identify like who that customer is that's searching, and then having a product available. So like the milk frother, if you go on their storefront, you check out they have a milk frother for an executive, one that's for X, Y, and Z. And a lot of it's just the same product, but it's the same product position to a different market. They're using UPC, so they're doing everything within Amazon's terms of service, but he does a really good job of knowing a particular audience, how that audience searches, and then using good imagery coupled with that is what's going to help. So assets are everything. People are visual. They're not going to want to buy something that doesn't have a lot of reviews, that has poor imagery and no real justification to buy that product. So those are just some aspects you would consider and what we noticed that works well in the market. Some really successful e-commerce sellers kind of using the same methodologies.
Now, one thing that, since you have worked a lot with these clients out there on Amazon, what are the top 4 or 5 common mistakes that you have seen brands make on their Amazon listing? And how can they avoid this pitfall? Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Amazon has some guides. You can follow me on LinkedIn, but I would say you can even Google it. They have best practices around like listing optimization, storefront creation. Check those out. They're like small things in there that are going to help you tremendously. For example, like backend search terms, don't include any commas, spaces, don't include anything you've already mentioned in your listing. You should go complementary, substitutable products is kind of like the best strategy for doing back-end search terms. A lot of people go in and it does get indexed and they do commas, or they, Lord knows how they do it. They use way more characters than they're allowed. It's like they raised it. It used to be 249. I don't remember what it is anymore. But it's a lot more than what it was. The second thing I noticed is keyword stuffing. A lot of people want to rank for everything and anything. I would find 1 or 2 root keywords that you want to go after, and then have variations in there. So like there was a situation a few years ago where you could just list the keywords you want to rank for multiple times over and over again on the listing. And they've done an update. So now if you mention a keyword 3 to 4 times, I think 3 is the cutoff, but let's just say more than 3 times, you're going to start getting a penalty. So you're not going to index for that keyword because they think you're trying to use an old black hat SEO tactic to kind of get in. So you want to make sure that you're targeting 1 or 2 root keywords, you're not overly using them, and you're talking about the benefits. So like your title should not be like a big brick of text. It should use natural language, so it'll index with Rufus and AI, and it should be more geared towards how searchers are going to search for your product. Once they're on the product detail page and bullets, it's about conversion rates. So sure, SEO is a part of it, but it's more like the romance. Like what is so cool about this product, and understanding that people scan. So you notice like don't use the emojis, you can get penalized for that. But having the first key takeaway, all capital letters, and then a longer description. So like, 90-day warranty, quickly clean, UV protected. Like those are quick things for the skim reader who's going through and they're saying, oh, yep, this is the product I want. Oh, cool, it's got these features. As I go down to the A+ content to look at the imagery, and then that's like the third piece you'd want to test. But keyword stuffing and understanding that user journey is really important. And so, understand your product. So that would be number 2 and 3. I think I mixed a couple there. And the fourth one, poor images. To be honest with you, like if you got your images from the manufacturer and your private labeler, you may want to consider just spending a little extra doing a photo shoot. At this point, AI technology is getting pretty savvy. Canva has some really great innovations. So like for pretty low cost of just getting some nice product shots at different angles, you can create a lot of support images that'll help sell your product. So there's no excuse at this point to not have decent images when you're entering a marketplace and launching a product. So those would be my top 4 common mistakes that we see sellers make in the marketplace.
So one thing you were mentioning about was that something related to SEO, kind of marketing that SEO generally guys do upon. So can you help also the audience understand, like generally in Google when we have there are a lot of algorithm changes that keeps on happening upon. There are a lot of updates that keeps on happening upon. So what is the case in Amazon? So like, do they also have algorithm? Do they keep on changing up there? What kind of they roll out something? So if you can help the audience know a bit about that.
Yeah, great question. So I report on this a lot on my LinkedIn, and we have a newsletter. So highly recommend checking it out. Amazon updates its algorithm, maybe not its search algorithm per se, but there have been a lot of updates, and they happen at least once a month. I have enough content with all the updates they do between operations, advertising, and some of the backend stuff that we have 25 to 30 hits a month of different changes going on. Science.amazon.com is where you'll find the changes they make through the articles they create that's coming in terms of changes to the A9, the search algorithm, and Cosmos, which is like the new aged version of the search algorithm. And so I'd say track those things and understand that it's going to change more and even further as AI, Rufus, and some of the other technologies they have are taking over and changing the way that we do search. So changes all the time. The best thing you do when you're logged into Seller Central is track the seller news updates and the brand forums. So we track a lot of what other sellers talk about in the forums, so we get an idea of what's coming down. As they make mistakes, the algorithm will penalize people even though they had nothing to do with it, and you got to be ready to rock and roll. And the third thing I do is follow my newsletter or check me out on LinkedIn, because we post about this several times a week, what it does, how it impacts sellers, and what you can do to mitigate risk.
Yeah, definitely. When I have gone through one of your news, and it was very interesting about what are the latest updates that are coming upon, how one should be practicing upon. Definitely, I'll be recommending my audience to have a look upon it.
Thank you.
So let's see if the businesses have implemented, kind of done this Amazon listing out. Now that is definitely a one-time task, but then the regular activities that generally we do upon is optimizing it out. So how do you handle this continuous improvement of optimization, and what are some key indicators that help understand that we are going on the right track, or there's a kind of thing that we need to make a change?
Yeah, great question. So continuous improvement. So a lot of it depends on your category, but generally at the minimum, you should be updating your listings 2 times a year. The first time is going to be around Prime Day, which is a big tentpole event that happens in July, usually the second or third week. So you'll want to have updated listings by June the latest, ideally sometime in May, where this way you're indexing more for general keywords and improving your images. And the second time you want to do this is as Q4 approaches, like generally October is a really good time. Depends on your product. Like if you sell Thanksgiving-esque products, you probably want to do that back in August. But generally, the second time will be towards the end of the year where that holiday shopping's coming in. But keep in mind, if you're like an apparel brand, you're going to want to change quarterly because seasons and trends change. And normally, fast fashion is pretty popular. You're launching a lot of products. Same thing in the beauty category. You might want to change as ingredients and trends change pretty often in beauty and supplements. So you may change 3 times a year, 4 times a year. I know like some of those products are seasonal, but on the low end, if nothing else, you should do it 2 times a year and strive to do it during those events. And then obviously anything that's relevant to your category, it's an opportunity. And Amazon recognizes that. You'll show more often and you'll get better results.
So you have given a lot of advices to the audience. Any last piece of advice that you'd like to give to the brands out there? What are the quick wins or the strategies that they can implement out there and start their journey on Amazon Marketplace?
Yeah. So if you're starting on Amazon for the first time, be sure to, if you have the ability, work with somebody who's got experience on it. It is its own ecosystem. It operates different than Google, than Facebook, Meta, whatever it is. So there's nuances. But if not, the Seller University has a vast library of resources that at least you can make sure you're adhering to best practices and fundamentals while you're learning, growing, and building that brand. Outside of that, to your point you brought up earlier, track your KPIs. Early on, you want to look at like top line KPIs. So if you're under or your playbook the 7 figures, you should be striving, that your spend and total sales is kind of being mapped together. And as you grow to an 8 and 9 figure business, you'll get more granular in the type of KPIs you track, but also as you expand your logistics and your operations that come with brands that grow to that volume and size. And it's a great journey. It's fun to be a piece of that, working in the Amazon space, and it's always changing. So how shoppers shop now is going to be a lot different 5 years from now, even 2 years from now at the rate we're going. So it's crazy.
Definitely, and with the way Amazon is expanding, whether it might be, previously it was about the ads only, but currently now they are getting into video ads and a lot of other versions which I have been hearing about. So definitely the scope is a very large that's in the future. So thank you, Will, for this incredible session. Your strategies for optimizing Amazon listing and insights on leveraging key elements for better ranking have provided so much value to my audience. To our listeners, we hope you found today's conversation and insightful and engaging advocate. Be sure to connect with Will or explore Bellavix if you are looking to deepen your understanding about Amazon market. Thank you once again, Will, for being on the show. It's been a truly pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate being here.